Alyssa. I'm a third-year doctoral student in Ripon Molly's anthropological genetics lab in the University of Illinois. My research uses a bunch of different techniques. So I use ancient DNA analysis, and I also look at modern DNA from living communities and isotopes for diet and community oral history because I'm working with indigenous communities. So we're using kind of traditional Western science evidence alongside of indigenous knowledge to look at diet and the oral microbiome in an indigenous community in British Columbia. The isotope evidence show kind of what you would expect for the coastal communities and what they know. That their ancestors lived predominantly off of a marine diet, lots of like what we think is fish and marine mammals. So that's kind of where we are right now, and then we're hoping that as we fine-tune the ancient DNA techniques, that we'll be able to see some specific species to add to that sort of, we get like the proportions from the isotopes of what they're eating, so a lot of like fish and marine mammals, and then with the DNA we're hoping to be able to see specific species, so kind of put like species names along with that to get a menu sort of. Before college and everything, I was really interested in archaeology. I've always thought that like learning about people in the past is really cool and the connections that we have to them now. When I was in high school, I went to a field school, especially for high school students, that was like focused on getting more women into archaeology. And then I went to undergrad and still loved anthropology and specifically archaeology. And then I did a master's in bioarchaeology because I really liked the human component, like thinking about the people and the people that were there and what they were doing and what we could find out about them. And then I moved over to ancient DNA so that I could kind of learn another tool to look at those same people. And now working with the descendant communities, doing the modern DNA is a good way to connect those past people with their descendants now and what they're doing and how they're living in the same areas. Part of the project this summer will be to start food journals with the descendant community so they can tell us exactly what they're eating now and we can compare those a little bit more closely. But yeah, it's pretty consistent with what they have told us before, that they are still, the marine diet is very important to them. It's amazing how many people are doing biological anthropology. Like, it's so big. I think that I just didn't expect how many people there would be as like, you know, a graduate student in the beginning and not really knowing what I was getting into, and then to find out how many people are doing this kind of stuff is really cool. When you like give more space to people who have diverse perspectives, whether that's from like a race or ethnic perspective or just different socioeconomic backgrounds, different academic paths that they've taken to get where they are, then you're going to get new ideas, and that's where innovation comes from. If it's all the same people doing the same thing all the time, then we're not going to have any growth as a field. So I think that things like that make a space for those people is imperative to having innovation in our field. I think that one of the most exciting things is to like listen to presentations and hear new ideas and think about how you can incorporate them into your research, because that's, I mean, learning from each other is probably the most important part, whether that's like faculty or grad students or even undergrads. It's definitely going to be worthwhile, even if you just get one new idea or meet one new person, you don't know where that's going to go like a year from now or 5 years from now, you know, what collaborations are going to build out of that.